the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Atlanta, Georgia, Mercedes-Benz Stadium between Ole Miss and Penn State. Penn State 3.5 to 4. This is at the 4.5, maybe 4.5, somewhere around right around 4-point favorite. Total sitting at 48.5. I will say I'm not a fast food guy. I don't eat any fast food except Chick-fil-A is my one exception. And I'll say the most typical thing ever. Sadly, it's always closed on the one day I want it the most. But are you a fast food guy?
I am a Chick-fil-A guy because of the grilled nuggets they have. I mean, if you're on a protein diet or anything like Atkins or anything like that, you're not going to get a better fast food choice than the Chick-fil-A drive-through. And I read a story they might start serving on Sundays. You know, the economy's a bitch right now. You got to make your money when you can, even if you're Baptist. So,
let's get into. I'll go through player news first. Backup quarterback Spencer Sanders, Ole Miss, academically ineligible. How do you become academically ineligible for Ole Miss as a football player? So he will not be playing.
And it's not like he's a freshman either. I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
You went to grad school and didn't go to class? I mean, this needs an investigation.
Yeah, there should be a 30 for 30 on this. Ole Miss, the good thing with these two teams is it looks like both will have close to full rosters. Ole Miss, their starting edge, Cedric Johnson, he opted out. That'll hurt from a defensive perspective. Penn State, a lot of coaching changes. New OC, no new DC. They're going to keep co-OCs running the show for the bowl game, despite hiring Andy Kotelnicki from Kansas. And defensive coordinator Manny Diaz took the Duke head coach job. No one in the portal. Christian Driver, wide receiver, he had like 27 snaps. For Penn State as of now. Injuries, only Harrison Wallace, the wide receiver, but he hasn't played since week 9. They do have 2 opt-outs in Chop Robinson, their star defensive end, and cornerback Johnny Dixon. Their stud left tackle, Fashanu, could be a first-round draft pick. He declared, but he is at practice. So I don't know if he's going to play the whole game, if he's going to be limited, if he's not even going to go in. But he is with the team and did at least practice this week. You also have Kalen King, Curtis Jacobs, Theo Johnson, DeQuinn Hardy. Even though they declared, they're playing. So that's a good sign for Penn State's care level. You have all these guys who, outside of Robinson and Dixon declared for the NFL draft. Most of them are going to play. We'll see on Fashanu. And then Ole Miss looks like have pretty close to a full roster outside of Cedric Johnson, who opted out. You have the weird thing about this bowl game, it's not a college football playoff game. These are 2 marquee programs. Ole Miss has been hitting the portal so hard. So how distracted is Kiffin? And then you have Franklin dealing with all these coaching changes. He's obviously hitting recruiting and the portal as well. But these teams have a lot going on. Both of these head coaches leading up to this game. I generally think this line, I have a slight lean to the over. But, I wouldn't mind taking Ole Miss live because what I think this game probably comes down to, it's Lane Kiffin in a bowl. They're going to go for it on 4th down like 5 or 6 times. So that's going to create so much variance with the side and total. Penn State will probably play it a little bit more conservative than Ole Miss will. But like Ole Miss, the first drive of the game, they're going to get on the 30th. It's like 4th and 6. They're going to go for it. And if they get it, just think about the swing in the live market. So I generally think that this is a pretty fair line and total. I made the total a little higher, but not much. What are you seeing here between Ole Miss and Penn State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl?
I like the over too. I mean, I had 48, I would buy it over. So we're sitting on 48.5 as we record. So definitely keep your eye out on that. And then on the Penn State side of the ball, Drew Aller's finally throwing downfield. First 6 games of the year, average depth of target around 7 yards. Ended the season over 8 because there was this huge push for explosives and 11 yards average depth of target against Indiana and Michigan State to close the season. Aller's not committed a turnover-worthy play since week 9. Only 4 on the season. He has been very good with ball discipline and not making mistakes. Now, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, they've had 163 and 162 rushing attempts. They haven't had near the explosiveness that they've shown in the past, but this team is all inside zone, 2/3 of their rushing attempts, outside zone on the other third. Singleton was, always running over center. So I could see having some props there. They're going to have some success running inside zone here against the Ole Miss defensive line. Katron Allen is the one that really goes over Olu Fashanu's spot. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but the left tackle, left edge is where they're always running Allen. So if you're playing props, I do like Nick Singleton here. Now, Drew Aller saw a lot of cover 3, and he was above national average in success rate. So he's explosive against quarters. Ole Miss is heavy quarters coverage. Sometimes they veer off to cover 3. I expect Drew Aller to have a big game here to throw down field. The other side, with Ole Miss on offense, it really starts with Quinshon Judkins. Average success rate using inside zone and power. There's no Chop Robinson here at edge, so it's surely going to draw the Ole Miss ground attack away from the other edge, Adisa Isaac. Penn State just obliterated rushing attacks using inside zone. So Quinshon Judkins created 69 missed tackles. Penn State's generally pretty good at tackling in space. More of these players that are coming in, like the Kalen Kings, hopefully Johnny Dixon playing over at the corner spot. Penn State's going to go man coverage. They play it more than a lot of other people do, 40% of the time. Then they veer off into some cover 1. Dart was pretty average against both, less success rate against man coverage. So I'm expecting Drew Aller to have success throwing into this quarter's coverage. He's throwing a lot deeper now. Ole Miss was 52nd in tackle grading, 97th allowed and on target. So they receivers are getting hit in stride against this Ole Miss defense. I like the over if we can get it at 48. I think Penn State is the side to back here, although it is on the rise. I'm not sure where I would stop here. Probably, I definitely wouldn't take a 6. So I guess as we record, I would take a 4.5.
Yeah, I think Dixon, by the way, is supposed to opt out. If it hasn't been officially announced, but it looks like King, Hardy, Isaac, who accepted a Senior Bowl, their linebacker Jacobs. It looks like they're all going to play. Theo Johnson, their tight end, but I think Dixon and Robinson are going to opt out. But this game, there's been a lot of bad bowl games. I mean, we look at Tulane today with everyone they had up, but this game, I think, will be a pretty good football game to watch with most.
Have you heard James Franklin's motivation? Penn State is the first team that can win all 6 New Year's 6 bowl games. The first program in history. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no college football playoffs.